be careful what you wish for. That's what we're told, isn't it? That's what we're told by pundits and rival fans that look at West Ham United from afar, who have never really watched West Ham, who just look at the black and white and think, why would they want to get rid of David Moyes? He's delivered some great results and, you know, strong league finishes and European football and a European trophy. And yeah, when you look at it from that point of view, you just look at the black and white, it looks great. It really does. But when you look beyond that, which a lot of these pundits and fans don't do, you start to see the problems. And you then start to understand why West Ham United fans are so frustrated with David Moyes and why a lot of us now feel that it's definitely time to move on, because we feel that he has just been found out. There was a time where his style of football was working very well for West Ham and it was getting us a lot of results and we were very difficult to play against, but we could just see that tide changing now. There's too many teams that have figured this out and we're finding it harder and harder to pick up results, and when we do pick up results, a lot of the time it feels like we've just been very, very lucky, or the opposition team has just had a very off day. You know, we have been lucky this season. We're not afraid to admit that. We've also been lucky because we've had some great individual performances as well that have won us games or saved us from conceding way more than we probably should have done in some games. You know, we see that, and yeah, it is time to move on. And you know, a lot of fans, including me, were able to stomach a lot of these poor performances and boring football for a while, belongs we were picking up results. But we see now that the results are just going to get worse. And if we continue with David Moyes, we are just going to continue going downhill. And things are just going to gradually get worse. So it's definitely time to move on from David Moyes now. And the reason why a lot of these fans say, and pundits say, be careful what you wish for, is because we could end up with someone worse when we get a new manager. And that is 100% true. We could end up with someone worse than David Moyes. We could also end up with someone better, though. That's why the next important it's really important that we get the right person in, because we don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past. You know, we've been in a similar position before where we've had another manager who come in to steady the ship and added stability. We weren't happy with the football. I wasn't, definitely. I wanted rid of Sam Allardyce, just like everyone else. And we got in Slaven Bilic, who was great for a while. Then it went downhill a little bit, and we put David Moyes in to steady the ship, save us from relegation. We didn't want him to stay, so we got in Pellegrini, and that was okay for a little while. Then, you know, it went to shit, and so we brought in David Moyes again. And I didn't want David Moyes. I never wanted David Moyes as West Ham United manager. Never. And yeah, I'll look back at it now and I'll say I was wrong, because he has done a great job, but his tenure has now come to an end. You know, his shelf life has run out at West Ham, and maybe he needs to move on. We need to part ways, and we need to try and push forward. Try and bring in a manager that can take us to the next level, because we feel like we're a sleeping giant. We are capable of doing that. We're in a really strong position. We've got the infrastructure, we've got the finances to really push on. And now we need to make the right managerial appointment. And this is where my concern comes in when getting a new manager, is I'm afraid that we don't get that right manager in, because it all depends for me on who is choosing that manager. Is it going to be David Sullivan, or is the fact that he's brought Tim Steidten in a sign that Steidten is going to be the one who's going to make that decision? And David Sullivan is going to put his trust in Steidten to make that decision. Because I think if we do that, I've got more confidence that we will bring in the right person for the future. Then I have confidence in David Sullivan doing so. Because he hasn't had the greatest track record over the years. Yes, he has brought in some good managers, but unfortunately the ones that he tends to like don't really work or don't really gel with the fans too well. Sam Allardyce, David Moyes, those kind of managers. So, yeah, that is my concern, that we don't bring the right manager in next. And we're not going to know if it's going to be the right manager until later on in the line. It could be a process. It could take a couple of years for us to figure it out, because, you know, a new manager that comes in next season has got a big rebuild on his hands, and it could be a very transitional season where we might not see the full potential of that manager straight away. It could take a couple of years. Tim Steidten has talked about having a 5-year project and, you know, building up a team that, you know, that can fight for those European spots and maybe the top 4 on a regular basis. And that's the aim. But it's going to take a little while. It's not going to happen overnight. You know, just because we bring in a new manager doesn't mean that it's going to be next season that we're going to be doing that. It doesn't. It could take a little while. So yeah, we're not going to know if the next managerial appointment is the right one for a while, but we just got to hope that it is the right one. And I think the best hope we've got of getting that right manager in is by putting our trust in the person that we have brought in to help us in that regard, and that is Tim Steiden. So if he is picking managers and he is recommending, I hope David Sullivan is listening to him, and I hope he just doesn't completely disregard him and go with who he wants anyway, because then that's just going to start undermining the Tim Steiden, and we could end up going backwards. He could get fed up, he could leave, and then we could be back in the position we were a few years ago. And that's my fear. That's my fear. So yeah, the next managerial appointment for West Ham is a really important one. A really important one. And hopefully we get it right. Hopefully we bring in the right person, and we allow the person who has been brought in to make these decisions, we allow them to make the decisions. Anyway, we're going to have to wait and see how that goes, and if we do bring in the right man, we may still have David Moyes next season. That's still not 100% confirmed, so we're just going to have to wait and see. As per usual, let me know any thoughts you have in the comments, and if you like this video, do not forget to subscribe. Have a great day.